Beef, it's what's for dinner. As a Midwest kid, I grew up watching those commercials on TV all the time, and it really was the way we eat. And as a nation, we still eat a lot of beef. But what else are we eating when we eat that perfect steak, or that juicy hamburger, that Sunday pot roast? Is all beef the same, or is some of it better than others? You might be surprised. Our beef is not what it used to be. It's not just beef anymore. In fact, modern science has allowed us to produce vast quantities of beef, but maybe that's not for the best, because some of those changes have some really serious health implications. So should we stop eating beef, or what's the answer? Organic beef, that's the answer. There are very specific regulations concerning organic beef. They have better living conditions, they don't get antibiotics, and there's no growth hormones as well. And that means that organic beef can truly be the best choice. It can be purchased at any grocery store, but it does have a higher cost. So there are some other alternatives that are still good. What does organic beef mean? The U.S. Department of Agriculture has regulations that define the use of organic beef. They can be found in one of the USDA publications entitled Organic Labeling and Marketing Program. To be labeled 100% organic, only organically produced ingredients can be in the product, and they have to be used during organic processing methods. To be labeled organic, it has to be at least 95% organic. If it's labeled organic or 100% organic, meat cannot contain added sulfites. And to be labeled made with organic ingredients, it has to be at least 70% organic. But there's some other terms that we see thrown around when we hear about all natural foods. And some of those are all natural, or free range, or sustainably harvested. The USDA has no regulations defining those terms. So legally, there is nothing that we can enforce that say that's what that means. So free range to some meat producer or egg producer may mean something completely different from what it means to you or I, where they actually are free range. So how does organic meat get to be organic meat? According to the Organic Trade Association, there are few regulations placed on conventional livestock. There are no regulations on the type of feed that they're fed. There's no regulations concerning their access to pasture or their access to outdoors. Antibiotics are allowed. Sometimes they can even have them daily to help with growth. And synthetic growth hormones are also allowed. According to a USDA publication entitled Organic Milk, Organic Meat, and What the Access to Pasture Rule Means for Organics, organic livestock has to have access to pasture and access to outside at all times. Every day during the grazing season, they must be allowed to actively graze on pasture. During the non-grazing season, they cannot be confined. They do not have to be, they cannot be confined to a barn or some other such. They have to be able to go outside. They have to have 100% organic feed. Now what this means is they cannot have plastic pellets in their feed, and those are added for fiber or roughage. They cannot have urea. There's no animal waste or animal byproducts in organic feed. Antibiotic use is prohibited. Now if an animal gets sick and needs antibiotics, they can be given those antibiotics, but the animal has to be removed from the organic herd. It cannot be considered organic anymore. Instead, many of these farmers that raise organic livestock, they concentrate on prevention of disease rather than letting their animals get sick. And synthetic growth hormones are also prohibited. For the first time I heard a lot of those qualifications, like access to outdoors and have to graze on pasture, I was really confused, because I thought all beef was raised that way. As a kid, I remember seeing cows that get born on the farm, they go out in the field, they graze. When they get big enough, then they end up going and they get butchered and we have meat. Organic farms and a lot of family-run farms, they still run things that way. But I was really surprised when I learned the process that many of our mass meat producers go through. Much of the beef that we receive in grocery stores, it's produced on what's called factory farms. Now, these are farms that raise tens of thousands of cattle at a time. They're very large livestock operations. And the cows spend the last few months of their life in really cramped feedlot conditions, like this. This is a picture of a cow feedlot that was taken in California. They often have, as you can see in the picture, they really have no room to walk around. They have no room to really even move much. These cramped areas are oftentimes considered inhumane by much of the other livestock, by organic farmers. It's not considered to be a humane practice, because these can actually place added stress on the animals, according to the Animal Science Department at Purdue University.